Dear MK,
Can you help me?
oh my god, you'll never believe what happened.
I need advice.
Thank you, MK.
Welcome to the Dear MK podcast.
To take the audio today too, we can't forget that.
Oh, okay.
Last time. I'm just forgetting everything.
That's okay. Ugh. Ready? Yeah. Welcome back to Dear MK.
We have a note day today. I feel like even when we usually do a note day where we're just like reading from the shared note and just like blabbing about whatever, we usually plan it, and we've done like no planning whatsoever for today,
Yeah.
so it's just gonna be whatever it is.
We're jumping right in.
My first thing is a scoop of Belly Welly into your cup. Have you been seeing this?
No.
It's like this health influencer something where it's like, you know, all those skinny tea things where
Yeah.
it's like, you know, drink this and your body will be cured, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But she goes up to famous influencers. I've seen them in like California at Coachella, whatever, and she like is talking to them and just dumps something into their open cup.
Okay, I actually have seen that.
I hate this. I think it should be illegal.
Well, yeah, because it looks like or feels like you're being drugged. Like,
Yes.
you did not consent to that.
And then she's just like, I promise you'll love it, blah, 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 blah. And then she just, like, expects these famous people to drink what she's putting in
Right.
their cups. And I think that's absurd.
Wait, what did the Coachella ones look like? Were they, like, restraining order? Like, someone get this girl away from me?
No, it was like, I see them from her account. So she, like, goes up to the celebrity. I mean, I guess it could be fake.
Yeah.
But I saw him.
I think they're real, though, because I've only seen one, and it was Kaylor from Love Island, and she was sitting down with her coffee that looked like she just got.
Yeah, and they look at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, that's
I saw,
what she looked like.
James Charles talking about it, and he said that it happened to him on the street, and he did not know it was going to happen, and he did not know who this was. And she just came up and dumped it right in his cup, and I was like, that is so triggering, stupid, unprofessional, terrible marketing.
Yeah.
Like, everything wrong with it that I could possibly think of.
Right, and she's definitely just they're doing it for, like, the shock value in it, but I don't like that at all either.
I
would be
saw
pissed.
it and I was like, that is so unethical. Like, if someone came up, like, especially a woman, like, obviously, like, anyone can get roofied, anyone can
Right.
put something in your cup, but, like, I feel like as women, we more consciously think about that when we are anywhere. So to have a woman approach you and dump something into your cup in front of you, like, stop.
Yeah, no, I would be absolutely pissed about that. Plus, it's like you have to go buy a new drink, and what if you don't have time to buy a new drink? Like, that just ruined your actual day.
And you paid for that.
Because who's actually trying it? Like, I don't care if you say it's your product. You could have something in it. Like, I don't trust you.
Put it in my drink.
Yeah.
Like, it probably tastes like something.
That's what I would assume. Like a pre-workout almost.
Yeah.
Like putting that into any
Something
drink.
of
That
Kaylor
doesn't
and her
work.
coffee, and it's like... That,
She had like a... Did you see that one?
Yeah.
It was like a cappuccino. Like, it was like a big mug. And she was sitting down.
These are like
She
freshly
looked so
open
upset.
drinks, and these people look at this woman like, what was that?
Yeah. I'm surprised more people don't, like, yell at her.
It's just been upsetting me. I've been seeing it, and I felt like we had to talk about it.
That would upset me too. A lot.
Okay.
Is it my turn, or do you want to just keep going?
No, you can. We can take turns.
Okay, well, mine's, like, kind of a lot, but they all go together, so mine's gonna be longer.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I was listening to Mel Robbins' podcast, who I've talked about before on here. She's a therapist, and I just think she has really great advice for all types of people, all ages. Like, literally any situation you're going through, you can probably find an episode. And she had sex therapist Vanessa Marin on, and they were talking about, like, spicing up sex lives and, like, ruts in relationships. And it was really interesting because the way they did it was Mel was basically asking personal questions about her and her husband's relationship and, like, the struggles that they have, like, sexually.
She was asking this to the guest?
Yes.
Okay.
And they had Mel's husband take, like, a video of himself or, like, a audio recording or something. Like, I don't know. It sounds like maybe he sent a voice memo to the therapist, and Mel didn't get to see it. So it was, like, in real time, like, she would ask a question, and, like, they'd talk about it, and then they would bring in his questions, and she was, like, so worked up. Like, she said multiple times that she's really anxious because she doesn't know what he was going to ask, which I found really interesting. Like, I would also be terrified. Mind you, they have a massive platform, but I just thought the stuff, like, we've never talked about having, like, a rut in a good relationship.
Yeah.
And I feel like you probably don't have experience with that.
I don't feel like I've experienced that.
I feel like no one in college will ever experience that. Like, you go to school, you see your boyfriend, like, girlfriend, whatever, things are fun, like, your sex drive is high, like, I feel like you're not gonna have a rut in college.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that's a lot more rare. Unless it's very clear that you're, like, breaking up, and it's usually, like, it's not long lasting.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like once you're out of college and you're in a long-term relationship, like, it's much more apt to happen. I definitely have experience with this from, like, if you listen to past episodes, my, like, health things that I was dealing with. I, like, bled for an entire year every day and felt so sick and just had, like, so many things happening that I was just like, I actually, like, can't do this right now.
Yeah.
So I definitely experienced it like that. But they talked about, like, okay, what do you consider a rut? Like, what would you consider,
like, sexually, or just...
Yeah, like, not having sex. It's kind of hard.
I feel like it, like, frequency depends. So I think I would feel like we were in a rut if there were, like, 2 or 3 times in a row where there was, like, ample opportunity and it wasn't taken.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I can put, like, a timestamp on it. I don't feel like I can say, like, oh, 2 weeks we're in a rut, because, like, you could be so busy and there just couldn't be opportunities. But I feel like if I went a certain, like, if there was, say, like, 2 weeks where we didn't, but no one said anything about it, and it wasn't like, oh, I wish we could do this, but I know we have to go to bed early, we're too busy, or, like, if there were a couple times in a row where it's like, I felt like it could happen, and then the opportunity wasn't taken, that's when I think I would feel like that.
Yeah, I like how you said it that way, too, because that's definitely more relatable for, like, college as well.
Yeah.
If you're not, like, seeing your partner, or if you don't live with your partner, and it's like, you can kind of say it in times, whereas I feel like if you live with a partner, you are thinking more of, like, days or weeks, just because you see that person every day and you go to sleep with that person every day. So it's like, technically, like, there are opportunities, or, like, you have to, like, make opportunities. So clinically, she said they count a year. I know.
Oh my God.
Then, so obviously everything's very, like, that's super subjective of, you know, whether you're in a rut or not. But I want to just, like, kind of talk about what we would define it as first. And then she said, but asking people, like, if I think she did, like, a poll on Instagram, or just, like, through talking to clients throughout years, she said that most people consider 3 to 6 months a rut. But, like, clinically, they wouldn't, like, say that unless it's been, like, a year. And that's probably more, like, in marriage and, like, you've been together for a long time. But definitely in, like, long-term relationships, I feel like 3 months, like, there's an issue. Like, and then after 3 months, like, I think that becomes a really scary issue.
Yeah.
And then after 6 months, you're like, okay, what's happening? And then I feel like it feels... or must feel, like, so scary to initiate again.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, okay, well, why haven't we been... or especially if you aren't talking about it, and I would assume most couples aren't talking about it when it goes, like, that long. And it kind of just becomes, like, a normality, and then you're just, like, best friends.
I think sexual attraction is something we talk about a lot in my relationship, at least, and it's like we'll have conversations after watching Love is Blind, and it's like, I could never be in this relationship if I didn't feel like we were mutually sexually attracted to each other.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I feel like some people are like, oh my God, well, that's the least important thing, and it's like, I don't think it's important to developing a connection at first, but I think it's so important to having a healthy relationship, and I think a lot of people don't think that that's true, or I think a lot of people focus on other aspects of relationships.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important.
I agree, and I think that a lot of people that say that too, or that they don't care, or that it's okay if they don't have like the best sex life, it's because, especially as women, well, we don't really talk about it. Like, what does a healthy sex life look like genuinely? And like, do you feel satisfied in the sex that you're having? Because it's like, if you don't talk about these things, or you don't realize that sex could be better for you, like our conversation we had before, I forget, what did we call that episode?
I don't know.
We can plug it in, but...
Was that misconceptions? Sex?
Maybe.
Chains?
Yeah, well, it's like, if you watched a lot of, like, traditional porn, or you have never seen porn, and you've never talked about what sex really looks like with your friends, and it's like, you will think that it's just for male pleasure.
Yeah.
Or you don't know how to, like, bring yourself pleasure, therefore, like, you're not asking for it. Or you just simply, like, you know it and you don't ask for it because, again, it's just, like, scary. You don't know how to. So I feel like those people that don't have, like, the healthiest sex life but have a great relationship, like, they will think that's okay, because it's like, well, everything else is there, and like, maybe I don't need this, or they just like literally don't even know they could have it.
I think people, I think you're totally right. I think people look at it like it's not like an integral part, like if you don't have that, like it's okay because you have other things. But I remember I had this conversation with my partner, and he was like, the first time we had sex, I was like, he was like, I don't know if we'd be here right now. And I was like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I felt like I could tell instantly. And I said, well, I didn't think the first time we had sex was like great, because I was coming out of that relationship. I was very nervous, very reserved. And he was like, no, I could tell. He was like, we like fit together. I could tell like it was good. It was gonna get better even.
Wow.
And he was like, but I think if I had felt differently after that first time, like I don't know if I would have felt as connected to you as I do. And I was like, that's crazy to me, because if you asked me, I'd be like, yeah, we weren't having great sex in the beginning, but now it's like so much better.
Right.
But he was like, no, I knew instantly either that's the kind of thing that like works for me or doesn't.
I love that. I totally resonate with that, and I've said it before. You know what I'm gonna say? Wait, I want you to say what you think I'm gonna say.
I think you're gonna say, if you're not having good sex, it's their fault.
Oh, no, but sure. No, that I've only ever dated men that have made me finish, because I just think, like, those men are men that I could tell, like, you care about me, and, like, it was also, like, if you're doing that, like, there's definitely a lot of consent happening.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of, like, questions or, like, you know, communication in there, especially for, like, someone you're just meeting or, like, hooking up with, compared to when you're in a relationship already. Like, I feel like that's where it's, sure, like, some people grow, but to me, it was always, like, well, if you can show me before we're officially dating that, like, you care, that means so much to me. And it is, I think it's true, like, a lot of times, too, just by, like, kissing someone, you can tell if you're gonna mesh sexually or not.
I agree.
So I do think that's incredibly important. So basically, she's talking about different ways that you can, like, get out of these ruts, but also it was from, like, kind of a survivor's perspective too. I was thinking of this. A lot of survivors might feel like that pressure to have sex, especially if you were in an abusive relationship and your partner was always wanting something from you, and it, like, wasn't about you. Yeah. There's a huge difference if you're having sex and it's, like, mutual pleasure versus someone always wants something from you. And she talked a lot about basically, like, so, like, buffer times is one thing, but also she was talking about non-sexual touch or just sexual touch that has no expectations. And I really liked this concept because, I mean, I think for anyone, but especially just people that have had any kind of sexual discomfort or sexual abuse, assault, talking with your partner or the person you're with about how having, like, smaller, meaningful moments like that without expectations can build you up to like, really wanting to have sex again. So it's like, okay, prioritizing. She said her and her husband make out every single day, even if they don't have sex every single day. And that, like, they specifically do it outside of the bedroom so that, like, their brain kind of starts pairing, like, okay, you can have intimate moments that aren't in the bedroom, that don't equate to sex, that just make you feel good and comfortable, and, like, you don't have to go further.
Yeah, that makes me think of, I've seen, like, those videos on, like, Reels or whatever, where it's, like, the difference between, like, a, okay, bye, I love you, and, like, an, okay, like, take a second, goodbye, I love you, like, a kiss, like, and I think that's something my partner and I do every day. I don't feel like I'd enjoy that make-out thing every day. It's definitely interesting. I don't feel like that would be for me, because I'd feel, like,
confused.
Just take me to the bedroom, like, just take my clothes off, like, I don't, but, like, a meaningful kiss, we hug all the time, like, that's really important to me. And, like, laying down, I think, like, those intimate moments and having, like, a kiss goodnight or, like, a hug goodbye is so important every day.
I completely agree. I'm with my partner all day long. Like, we both work from home most days, so those moments are, like, sometimes, like, all day long, where it's, like, I'll be working sometimes, and, like, he wants, like, the biggest hug and kiss, and I'm like, I am literally in the middle of something. And, like, for me, sometimes I'll be like, you know, like, no, like, not right now. Yeah. But that hurts his feelings. Yeah. And, like, that's something that I have had to work on, too, because it's like, well, even in smaller moments, even if, like, it isn't leading to sex, little, like, rejections like that, too, will then give people, like, okay, maybe I'm not going to initiate sex now. Yeah. Or, like, it kind of, like, creates a barrier there. And I was thinking, too, like, definitely if you're in a rut and it's, like, you're scared to have touches like that. Or, again, like, you're coming out of a bad relationship and those touches just make you want to be, like, get off of me. Yeah. That's where it's, like, having those conversations and figuring out, okay, well, like, what moments can you make? Like, maybe it's not a make-out, but maybe it's more of what you're saying. I thought that was just, like, a really great idea. And then another one was buffer times between, like, before having sex. And it's the way that I look at it as, like, foreplay that's not sexual. So, like, just the foreplay before the foreplay.
Like going out to dinner.
Yes, but it's... So, I'm, again, like, the way that I would have said it was, like, also connecting to, like, love languages here. So, this is for people that, especially, I mean, sure, it totally could be relatable to any point in your life, but I think especially relatable to couples that live together, or just in general, adult relationships where you work, like, a 9 to 5 and you come home. That, like, work to... then dinner, and then, like, you're on your phone, or you have to shower, you have to get ready, and then it's like you're waiting till you get in bed to have sex. Yeah. But sometimes you're just, like, tired. Yeah. Like, you're so tired. And then that time between, too, like, what did that look like? Were you on your phone? Were you having, like, genuine conversations where there's eye contact, touching, like, all the things we were just talking about? Like, were you having smaller, intimate moments in this? Or was it, like, you had a really busy day, then when you come home, you rush through all of those things, and then you're just expected to have sex, but it's like, we need that, like, warm-up. Like, in our minds, you need to mentally transition from busy life to, like, I'm gonna be intimate. Yeah, I think that comes for after, too, like, especially for someone who doesn't live with their partner. Like, if we have sex, it has to be, like, like, say it's like, okay, I'm gonna leave in 30 minutes. Like, that is not a window to have sex, because could we have sex in 30 minutes? Yes, but could we spend the time after that I'd want to spend together after that? No. Right. Like, that doesn't fit in that time frame, and it's like, I feel like that comes for a cool down period of time, too. And I also love a cool down period. And so the advice that was given was to ask your partner, like, just like love languages, and I think it would match up with love languages, what do you need for buffer time? Like, in general, how much time? But 2, what in that time would get you in the mood to have sex? So, for, like, ideally, if I were to, like, think of something, like, it might be, like, oh, when I get home from work, like, you had, like, dinner ready, and we agreed, like, no phones, we were having intimate conversation for, like, 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. Or you, like, ran a hot bath for me, and it's, like, all about me, and there's, like, a glass of wine, and, like, I just get to relax. Or is it, like, you're gonna read your romance novel for 20 minutes by yourself? You know, like, what do you need that just, like, mentally separates you from work and, like, allows your mind to be ready before maybe, like, your body gets ready too?
Yeah, I think I would take that as any time where we're shifting the focus from, like, things we do individually to things we do together. So, like, even if we're hanging out but we're both doing work or homework or whatever it is, I'd need time where it's just, like, us having a conversation about anything. Right. Like, it could be something so stupid, or, like, us watching TikTok for, like, 20 minutes to, like, disassociate from the things we were doing individually and, like, put focus onto whatever we're doing together. Mm-hmm. No matter if that's, like, I don't feel like I would even need that to be, like, super present, just us. Like, if it's TV show time or phone time, like, we're sitting together, we're doing the same activity, our minds are in the same place rather than in separate places. Yeah,
I think it's, like, again, varies for everyone, and I think it is more relevant for people that are just, like, you're literally so busy all day long, and it's, like, harder for you to get in the mood. And there are two different types of people, like, sexually. So there's, like, the spontaneous person, and then there's the responsive person. So, like, the spontaneous person is someone that anytime during the day you might just be like, oh my gosh, I'm horny, like, I want to have sex, and, like, nothing led to that feeling, like, you just had that feeling. Versus a responsive person would be, they just, maybe they were reading the romance novel, or they watched, like, a sexy scene on TV, or their partner does or says something to initiate that thought. So it's like you get turned on in response to things versus you can just get turned on randomly, like, in your head.
That's so interesting.
But it, like, makes a lot of sense when you're thinking of, like, what do you need a buffer time? And, like, how do we get you in the mood? Especially if you're someone that has a harder time opening up or has trauma in their past, and, like, they need to really feel safe and, like, need these extra steps. So I liked thinking of it that way too, because it's like, that's a conversation to have with your partner.
That is too. And going back to touching, I think having a conversation about whether you're intentional or just not intentional with those things. Like, you said when you get in an argument with your partner, you need him to be touching you.
Yeah.
I'm very much the opposite. I'm, like, very, like, if we hug, it's going to be intentional. If we kiss, it's going to be intentional. Mm-hmm. Like, I won't do any of those things casually or just to, like, fix a problem or make things feel better. So I think telling your partner how you interpret those actions is, like, a good early conversation to have, to be like, oh, I just love to hug, I hug everyone. Mm-hmm. Or it's like, if I'm upset, I'm not giving you a hug, we're not doing that until I feel better. That's such a good thing to know, because then it's easier to read those signals from them, or if they're not signals.
I agree. And that's why it's like, I love talking about this stuff, because really I feel like not many people are thinking about what they mean by their small actions. Like, usually you just do things because, like, you just feel like doing them, or, like, or there is, like, I'm feeling horny, so I'm gonna start touching my partner, or whatever it is. But it's like, you can have all that communication in your head, but if you don't have a conversation with your partner about them, like, sometimes it just might not match. Like, sometimes I think, sure, maybe you don't need to have it, but it's just, like, good to have it. And then you'll just understand each other even more. Like, if I came home and a bath was drawn for me and there's a glass of wine, I know where things are headed, but, like, how much would I appreciate that so much? Yeah. And I just feel like also a lot of women, like, do enjoy the, like, intellectual time before, and then obviously we, like, need foreplay to have, you know, good sex.
Like mental foreplay before the physical foreplay.
Yeah, like, I want mental, then physical. Like, that's just what I would like. And honestly, like, even the after the fact. Like, some people might not need that at all either, and, like, be like, I would just love to go to sleep after. But also, so another thing with this is thinking of, like, ruts as well, or just, like, getting in, like, consistency with your partner. When you're, okay, like, if you were asked, say your boyfriend, I almost just said his name, say your boyfriend was like, okay, we're going on a date on Friday. I'm taking you out to dinner, and then we're going back to my place. What are you thinking?
Okay. Like, tell me what to wear, like, I'll see you there.
And then, but what do you think, like, how are you physically preparing yourself?
Like, we're gonna have sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that's, like, technically, like, you're scheduling sex. But not a lot of people think about it like that. But it's, like, when you're telling someone, like, we're gonna do this, or, like, I'm gonna do this for you, and, like, we're gonna spend time after. Like, you are planning sex without saying you're planning sex sometimes. So for people that are like, well, I feel like I need to plan sex with my partner to have sex with my partner. Like, my life is so busy that we need to plan it, or we're in such a rut that we kind of need to force ourselves to do it to, like, remember what it feels like and get comfortable again. So, like, planning dates or planning your buffer times will just, like, help you in actually making sure, like, you do that. And it's also like, well, when do you have the most energy to have sex? Because that's so different too for everyone, depending on, like, what you do and who you are.
Yeah.
It's just,
I'm
like,
just thinking.
It's just like, well, it's just, I found the whole concept, like, interesting, because a lot of this is super, you know, basic stuff, but it's just stuff that you don't talk about, or if you, like, can reframe a bit, it will just help you, like, be prepared to have sex and, like, know what you need to have the best sex, or, like, what times you're gonna have the most energy. And, like, for me, like, if I wait till the end of the night some days, I'm like, no, like, I'm going to sleep. Like, this is just too late for me. So it's like, if you're someone that needs more energy, one, like, buffers will help you build energy, because you're getting mentally, like, your mental is how you get energy. But then also, it, like, maybe it needs to be in the mornings, or maybe it's, like, before that date. Because let's be real, are you taking me to Italian?
I'm gonna be full.
Am I eating carbonara? Like, I'm gonna be bloated. How many wines am I gonna have? I don't know. Like, so I just feel like, do I want to come home and be, like, bloated and full and, like, a little tipsy and then have sex? Not all the time. Like, not really. I would actually rather, like, before we go on our date, and then it's, like, this sexy little secret. Like, you know what I mean?
I love that.
But, like, people don't always think of it like that.
I can't tell if I'm a planner or not when it comes to, I feel like I maybe have an idea in my head, but I don't think there are any expectations in my relationship ever, which I appreciate. Or it will be like in the car on the way, like, home from somewhere, and it'll be like, what if we had sexy time tonight? And then he'll be like, I was thinking that too. And then I'm like, okay. And then he's like, okay.
Right, like, perfect.
Yeah, or it's like, say we went out to that dinner date and we get home and I'm like, I don't want you to think I don't want to do that, but my tummy's full, so we're gonna wait a minute. And he's like, me too. And then I feel like it's just, like, it's nice to be in a comfortable spot where you have communication, and I feel like that's the kind of thing that you should be looking to be on the same page as with your partner.
100%. I mean, again, like, when I think about me in college, and, like, even just, like, the partner I'm with now, like, there wasn't a single time we were together that we weren't having sex. Like, it was just all the time. But then it's like, now I'm not going to lie and say, oh, it's every single day. Like, that is not realistic, and I'm just really sick of everybody acting like that's a normal thing. And if it's, I mean, it's normal. It's normal. Yeah. But it's like, it's not if it's not normal. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm in college. I'm in my prime right now, and it's not every day. I'm tired. I'm busy. Like,
yeah, like, we're tired.
Yeah. Ideally, like, I'd be planning out, but it's like life just doesn't work that way. And that's why when you asked about the rut, I feel like it can vary so much. Like, if it ends up being like a whole week because it was like the world's busiest week, like, that's not a problem.
No, it's not. And it's like, I just think a lot of times media makes you feel like it has to be all the time, or it has to be a certain way. But I just think that anyone that feels like, oh, I'm not in, like, the place I want to be, there are just so many different creative ways to, like, get back to that place or have just conversations around it so that you feel better. Because it's like you could not feel good, obviously, with the things we're talking about of, like, you had trauma in your past, but you could also just not feel good because you're a little insecure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe you need to start your day with this person by, like, receiving like physical compliments from them, or emotional, like, mental compliments, whatever it is. And it's like, if you don't get the reassurance you needed just throughout the day, you might not feel ready at the end of the day. So it's like, everyone needs something different, and it's just so important to talk about what that is.
And I think it's a problem when people think sex is, like, the highest level of intimacy you can achieve.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, like, I really want to be as intimately close as we can be, but I don't feel like having sex right now. You don't need that. Like,
right.
I think that's an issue with people who think you need to be doing it every single day. Like, I feel like that's a level of intimacy that's important to me on certain days, but not on other days. Like, some days, like, I'm had a long day, I'm tired, I need you to hug me, I need to sit together, and that's what's gonna make me feel the most seen and the most appreciated and the most wanted, is if you're just gonna be here to take care of me. And it's like, you need to judge what you need based on circumstances and not just think that sex is, like, the end-all be-all.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm the same way. Like, there are some days that I'm like, if I come home and I've had a long day and you can, like, give me a massage and, like, literally just sit there and talk to me and have zero expectations, like, that's true love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is.
You want to feel wanted in more ways than just physically, and you want that person to want to do things. Even if that person is, like, great in bed doing everything you need, you want them to want to do more things for you than just sexually.
Yeah, I love that. And also, talking about this can be, like, we are unique. You know, we don't have a problem talking about sex. But I do know that there's so many people that would have an issue talking about this, whether it's because, you know, it was taboo and, like, media or women, like, are ashamed to have a sex drive or to talk about sex, or maybe, like, culturally at home, like, that's very shameful, or that's just, you don't even talk about emotions, maybe. And I think if you have a harder time with it, like, just starting slower, like, literally admitting to your partner, even though that's really hard, but just being like, I'm actually super uncomfortable talking about this, but I feel like we should, or we need to. And you can even, like, get a game. Like, you know how many card games that are out there?
They're so fun, too.
Have you done
that?
Yeah.
They're so fun, and that there are, like, so many ways to open up those kind of conversations. I want to segue, just because you said, you know, we're the abnormal. We have an easier time talking about this stuff. I was on the phone with my best friend literally right before we came here, and she's having this thing with this guy, and she needs to talk to him, and she was like, I said, you need to be upfront, and you need to say, just, like, I feel like something's off. Because that's literally all it is. Like, the vibe is kind of weird. And she was like, I can't do that. Like, I just can't. Like, I'm not like that. And I just want to address, like, having trouble to communicate in general, because we do recognize that most people aren't in the positions we're in. Like, whenever I'm feeling anything, I tell my boyfriend immediately. Like, it's just... It's become ingrained in my nature because I realize it's the only functional way for me to exist, but I feel like that's so hard to learn and teach to someone else.
Yeah, and it's also, again, with other people and, like, stigmas and whatever, sometimes, especially when women do express their feelings or say something, they're like, oh, she's crazy. Yeah. And then, like, guys, too, might say that, and then girls are like, wow, he's way too sensitive, because I've definitely gotten that in my past for straight up just asking questions like that. Like, hey, what are we? Yeah. Or, like, I would actually like to know what's going on here. And it is hard to do, but I think that also, like, comes back to, like, your own confidence and self-love, because it's like, if you're feeling great about yourself, like, you aren't afraid of the response. Like, I feel like people are afraid to say something because they're afraid of what the response entails. But it's like, if you can mentally prepare and, like, be okay with whatever that response is, then you're not going to be as scared to say it.
That's exactly what I was trying to tell her. I said, this is clearly something that's bothering you. So your options are to get it off your chest, and either he responds and validates your feelings and you have a conversation and you work the problem out, or he doesn't, reply the way he should, and you can realize, okay, this is not worth my time.
Exactly.
And then you wrap it up. And I just think one of the things I had in the notes was, like, I've become, I feel like, so self-serving in the past, like, 2 years. Like, if something needs to be said, I'll say it. If something needs to be done, I'll do it. And it feels so much better. And it's like, I just know so many people that would rather tiptoe around or feel like they can't present things, but it's like, you are only here for you. So if you're having feelings about anything, say it.
And that's on growth. Because I feel like most people, especially, like, you're young. I mean, I'm still young, but, like, you're young. And I think it's a lot more rare that people have, like, confidence and maturity and they're able to express their feelings at that age. But when you go through trauma and hardship, like, you learn that you have to speak up for yourself and that you need to set boundaries and, like, do things you need to do to feel safe and, like, healthy and okay. But people that maybe haven't gone through their own healing process, like, they don't understand or, like, feel those things yet. You know what I mean? But it is just really empowering to learn, like, okay, what do I want and need, and how do I get this? And, like, if this person can't give that to me, that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's just a standard we need to set. Like, if you feel something, say something. If you need something, go get it.
If you see something,
if you
say something.
Whenever we say that, all I can think about are those pictures in the airport of, like, a mysterious bag. I have this, like, crispy cough from the pollen.
It's okay. I did shut the window for you today.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you. We were driving here and I was, like, wheezing and I was like, she's gonna think I'm disgusting. But no, our standard, you just have to teach yourself to stick up for yourself. That's so much easier said than done. I know that. But it's like, get out there. What do you have to lose?
Well, that is the thing. What do you have to lose? Like, just ask yourself, like, okay, I'm so scared to do this thing. What's the worst that could happen if you do it? Okay, what are the chances of that happening? And then, okay, like, that's probably low chances, right? Or maybe it's a 50-50, like, am I going to be okay if it doesn't go the way that I want? Yes. Yeah. At the end of the day, like, you'll pick yourself back up, and once you're able to do that, and, like, maybe they say the thing you wanted. Amazing. You're totally going to feel confident after. Maybe they say the thing that you didn't want. That's okay. You're going to pick yourself back up, and then you're going to be proud of yourself, and you will feel comfortable to do it again because you know you got through that.
Yeah, and anytime you have concerns about a conversation, it's so much better to know things straight up, and especially with people, if they're not going to give you the response or the communication that you deserve, wouldn't you rather know? Yeah, wouldn't you rather say, like, I don't need you in my life? Like, I feel like so many people hold on to relationships or other human beings for the sake of thinking they should or wanting to have those connections, but it's like, no. If something isn't good for you, get rid of it.
Let them show you, like, who they are and what they want and need. Like, if those things don't align, there's nothing you can do.
You're just wasting your time.
Yeah.
If you're tiptoeing and you're not, like, coming out with it, like, all you're doing is wasting time, and you could be however many steps closer to finding the people you need to find.
Exactly. Like, at the end of the day, you are beautiful, inside and out, and there is someone out there that will want you and that you will want, and, like, it'll work out. Where are we at? I feel like that was, like, kind of a whole... I just want to know. We're at 40 minutes.
Do you want to keep going?
We can if you'd like.
Another thing I wanted to talk about. Can hot girls be feminists?
Yeah, I was confused by that comment.
This is something I'm learning about in one of my classes. It's like the duality of feminism, and a lot of people think that projecting traditional views of femininity counteracts ideas of feminism.
Okay.
So, like, being, like, your traditional girly, or, like, being... So, like, say...
I don't think that's true.
Let's think of a hypothetical.
Yeah, give me one.
We get so super famous.
Okay. I love this. Let's manifest.
Blows up. This is huge. We are speaking to the young women of the world. And then someone's like, oh my God, you guys are hot. Come be on Sports Illustrated. Can we do that? And can we make that choice? And will that contradict all the feminist and empowering values we instill? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Because I think a big issue is people think, like, showing off your body and using how you look and, you know, whatever it is, embracing your sexuality is contradictory to fighting for equality.
It's kind of like what we were just talking about with Sabrina Carpenter. With,
yeah.
Like, her choosing to have, like, sexual dances on stage or, like, have sexuality in her music and people being like, that goes against, like you're allowing women to be sexualized. No, she's just choosing to
embrace it. Yeah. Embrace her sexuality.
Yeah, it's like, you should be able to do what you want, and, like, other people should not sexualize you.
Exactly.
Like, that's the...
Okay, I've talked about my dream job at Hooters.
Oh, yeah.
They're shutting down. I still want it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they went bankrupt, which I know doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Yeah.
Maybe just like a little rebrand. Maybe I'll start working there and they'll be like, we're back in business. But it's like, can you put yourself in a position to be sexualized while you're still promoting feminist ideals? Or is that contradictory? And I feel like that's a big issue in our media and our literature. And it's a lot of things that people say you're a hypocrite for. So it's like, if we take cute pictures and post them on our social medias, but we're promoting these ideas when we speak on here, like, is that contradictory? And the answer is no. The answer is you can embrace who you are, and you can do that in the traditionally feminine lens.
Yeah.
So, like, be as girly as you want, wear the makeup, wear the whatever is traditionally defined as feminine, and still fight for these things.
1000%. I feel like I'm trying to think of, like, the opposite of, like, someone, if somebody, you know what, scratch that. I'm trying to think of, like, the male version. Or, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
I feel like these
stuff
kind
like
of
that.
stigmas don't exist for men because
they don't.
There's no such thing as, like, there aren't perceived flaws with presenting as masculine, but there are as presenting as feminine.
Or, like, okay, so, like, if you're a professional athlete, you can't also be, like, a drag queen.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So, like, there's no such thing as what you practice and what you preach representing how you are physically and how you present yourself.
Yeah. I like that PSA.
Thanks. I didn't know where it would go. I thought maybe we'd have more to talk about. But we're just telling you.
Yeah. No, I like that. I feel like I don't have as much to say. I mean, in, like, just, like, the current climate we're in, I feel like people will take anything anyone does and try to make it something bad.
Oh,
you know,
of course.
like, especially with women. And people love to put women in a box, but women are multifaceted, and, like, yeah, that should be embraced. Are we wrapping?
We can.
I
don't have anything else to say.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this, please give us a 5-star review. Send this to your friends. We never say that.
Yeah.
Send this episode to your friends.
Or have a watch party.
Have a freaking watch party and tag us. Follow us on Instagram at
dearmk.podcast.
Yep.
And on TikTok at
dearmkps.
And send us any questions you have.
Yes.
Either through Spotify or Instagram.
Yeah.
We'll be doing that soon.
We love you.
Bye.
Till next time. XOXO MK.